Olympics happens once every 4 years. We plan our lives around it.
We have so many things in Singapore stopping you from doing sports at a high level. It would be great to be part of that 1% in terms of excellence.
I knew I was ready. I was in the best form of my life, and I knew that if I went for the competition, I was very confident that I would make it. But then COVID happened.
Today would have been the eve of the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo.
Instead, the world's top athletes must wait another year.
It's going to be a long road ahead with more uncertainties and qualifying dates still up in the air.
So for me, my main goal is to qualify for the Olympics for now, qualify like top 8 for the finals, and then, eventually winning a medal at the Olympics. I started shooting at the age of 11, and I liked it immediately because, it's guns and you don't often associate girls with guns. So I thought that was pretty cool. And at 13 years old, I joined the national team. At 14, I won the ISSF Gold World Cup.
Excellent shooting by this young 14-year-old.
That was incredible.
Martina.
That was amazing.
Really amazing.
Great.
And this was when I beat an Olympic champion, which I didn't know until after the competition. And in 2018, I won 2 gold medals at the Commonwealth Games. So currently, I'm ranked 10 in the world. I am second in line for the last quota, behind a Slovenian girl who is ranked 7th. This is the one and only competition left for me to get a chance and qualify for the Olympics.
The Olympic Games has been something that me and Mark have been working towards. I remember back in 2016 in Rio, when we had the Olympics in Rio, and we saw the qualifying score, and both of us were in NS at that point of time. Then we looked at each other and we were like, we could have been there.
Tim and I started gymnastics in primary 1. My dad saw an advertisement looking for gymnasts to cross over to diving so that Singapore would have someone compete at the Youth Olympic Games in 2010. My dad kind of forced him and I to go for that diving tryouts because we weren't so inclined to go because the idea of wearing trunks was not something that we really wanted to do. But we went for it anyway. And in 2009, we officially joined diving.
When I was young, I found a lot of success swimming backstroke. I was 16, 17, and I smashed my theory, absolutely smashed it by about 4 or 5 seconds. And I qualified for my first SEA Games with the 200 backstroke. And I was just so far in front of the field, and it put me as a medal contender at that 2015 SEA Games. I was very young, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. And then you're just like, I must win a medal. I must win a medal because everyone is winning a medal in every single event. It so happened that the event I swam was the only one that Singapore didn't win a medal in. And especially because 2015 SEA Games was at home, all my friends were watching, and then to fail like that in front of all of them was made it even worse. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I want to kind of have control over everything I do in the race, or at one point in time, everything I do in my life. So when I lost control of that, I think I spiraled, and then I couldn't have that control. And so then when I went to open water swimming, and that was kind of the reality of the sport where there's absolutely no control, then I started to learn how to let go and just enjoy the process. And that's how I kind of fell in love with open water over swimming. Swimming is a very obsessive sport because we are out of humans' natural element. We need to dedicate a lot more time to perfecting that craft, and there's so many elements to swimming. Like there's the technique, the angle of your hand, the angle of your finger, the angle of your head in the water. There's so many of these small things that cannot be achieved unless you put in hours and hours and hours and hours in the pool.
The final competition of the 50-meter rifle positions men and women event will now begin. Shooting from Singapore, we have Jasmine and Martina. Take your positions. Eliminations of the lowest ranking finalists will begin after the 40-second shot and continue after every single shot until the bronze, silver, and gold medals are decided. For the first competition series, low.
In shooting, the perfect score is not a 10, but a 10.9. That's like hitting the bullseye of the bullseye. Every single decimal counts.
The finalists will change to the pole position within 7 minutes now. Nine minutes change over and cycling time start.
It's quite difficult because, it's a very accurate sport and it's a precision sport. So to really shoot 10.9 consecutively, at least more than 2 times, it's quite unbelievable.
After the 42nd shot, we have our first position and have to say goodbye to Alia Husna from Malaysia, our 5th ranking finalist, and a big applause to her. Still in the lead, we had Dane Johnson from Australia, and following closely behind is Martina with a difference of 1.2. Martina has taken the lead, and now the difference between her and Dane Johnson from Australia is 0.1.
Before I take a shot, I try to shut out the negative thoughts in my head. I would visualize a black box and put all these thoughts inside. I will visualize doing a perfect shot, so when it actually happens, I don't freak out or get too excited, because this is supposed to be the norm for me.
Stop. Undo. Results are final. Congratulations to our winners. Martina Boloso from Singapore, our gold medalist, Dane Johnson from Australia, our silver medalist, and Jasmine from Singapore, our bronze medalist.
Good to see you guys. Martina is here.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for the good competition. Yeah, you too. Very, very intense. My heart rate went up.
So when we found out that the Olympics was postponed, I think we sort of saw it coming because of what was happening around the world. But when the news actually hit that it's officially postponed a full year, I think me and Mark were sort of thrown off because we planned everything up to this stage, school and everything. We were prepared to sort of retire after Olympic Games. And we were talking about what our thoughts were on extending one full year, because it's one full year of training. It's actually very tough. People may think, oh, it's just a full year of training, but you have to think about waking up to go for your trainings 6 days a week.
So we train 4 hours a day, every day in the afternoon. And on some days we have to go to the gym early in the morning.
So over the course of 10 years plus of training, we sort of had to endure with a lot of different injuries along the way. And for me, the worst one would actually be my ankle injury, where I landed wrongly in the sponge pit and my tendon actually moved out of position. It sort of jumped over my bone. Safety first, bro. The next Olympics will be in 4 years, and that's a very, very long time to have to train, and I'm not sure my body will be able to cope with another 4 years of training. I think I'm sort of ready to move on to the next phase of my life after the Olympic Games lah.
You know, I'm in my twilight years. Olympics is kind of make it or break it for me. There is one Asian continental slot, and that means that in the qualifying trials, I need to beat this girl from Hong Kong because we are the only 2 people trying to vie for this slot. So I felt very, very good about my chances, and I really thought I could do it. And then COVID happened last, so here we are. Yeah. There's a saying in swimming where 1 day out of the water means you need to make up for it with 2 days. And so for circuit breaker, it was crazy for swimmers because that was like 3 months out of the water. And during that period of time, I thought a lot about the Hong Kong girl. Like, what is she doing? What is she doing? But the goal has always been very clear, and it's to beat that girl from Hong Kong. And so I haven't lost sight of that goal.
The Olympics is really the pinnacle of sport, and I'm sure that's the dream of athletes all across the world, wanting to compete at the highest level possible.
How many people can actually tell their friends or families that they competed at the Olympic Games? It's not only a goal for like my friends or family or whether it's for the nation, but something that I want for myself as well.
If there's anything I've learned from doing open water is, embracing the lack of control. And I guess this mindset of letting go has really helped me a lot in this past year of waiting for the Olympics to happen. So now I take things day by day. I hope for the best. And this idea of hope just keeps me afloat.
Meryl close up, take 2.
He's smiling.
To capture my pain.